One come all, those short, those tall. There may be some clowning around, but you'll get an earful all in all. No need for waivers, no need for saviors. Don't be frightened, do not hide. Enter now and enjoy the ride. So step right up, those far and near. The attraction is set. It's yeah for fear.
Hi, welcome to the Ear for Fear podcast. This is the podcast that talks about scary movies or movies trying to be scary. I'm Rick. I got Jake.
Yo.
We got Carl back in the house, man. Thanks for coming back out, man. Another damn disappointment.
Yeah, that's how people usually refer to me.
Fucking Carl. He's just another damn No, I was kidding.
Just disappointing dude.
Carl joined us on the Void episode. And he's back. And appreciate you coming on out, man.
I got
Absolutely.
the distinct feeling that Carl was not a fan of The Void.
Yeah. I'm so happy we are talking about this movie because this is so much better than our last one.
You want to introduce the movie? It came out in 2015. Go ahead, Carl.
Green Room, fantastic movie. Yeah.
Green Room, 2015.
Yes.
I had never seen this movie. I had heard that it was really good, and I just don't know why I never got to it. But then when I knew I was having you guys on, it just felt like the perfect movie because you're both in bands, and I'm sure you can relate and have stories, and I can't fucking wait.
Oh, yeah.
I have one thing to say about this is I think it might be a little bit of a stretch to call this a horror movie. It's definitely like Carl, you were saying.
Yes.
It's definitely situational horror, but
Yes.
I prefer, and I'm not saying I didn't like this film. I love this film. I like a supernatural element or some kind of science fiction-y element in my horror. This was just straight up. This could happen to you if you find yourself in the wrong situations.
True.
I would definitely put this in the category of
like
thriller or suspense.
Somewhere along the lines of like Seven, which there's definitely a horror element to the film, but it's not supernatural.
The only way, and I've done this before, and I feel like it's a cop out on my end. A lot of the stuff that's happening is horrific.
Oh, it's
terrifying. Then I can say it's a horror movie.
Plus,
I wanted to do this movie, so
you can argue that there's a monster or two in this movie too.
Oh yeah.
Do any of you guys want to do the synopsis?
I'll go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
So, this is a movie about a punk rock band called the Ain't Rights. They're just a bunch of little scrubs going out and doing their thing, and they end up in this town. They're from DC, so they end up on the West Coast, it seems like. And this promoter kid that basically brought them out says, "Yeah, the last show I had, somebody got shit all over the place, so they pulled my permit. Your show's canceled."
Yeah,
which is I've been there, but the show's canceled, and so they're going, well, we drove all the way out here. We got to get back to DC. We don't have any gas. Can you make anything happen? So this kid basically says, I'll call my cousin. He's part of this skinhead group. Just stick to your old shit. You guys will be fine. You'll get paid a few $100. And they go to this place. They play a show. They make some bad decisions.
And hilarity ensues.
Yeah, find a dead body in the back room, and the rest is how the fuck are we getting out of here?
That was pretty good, man. That's way better than I would have done. I would have fucking did like a Cliff Notes version of it, and that's good, man.
Oh, we've only scratched the surface, man.
So I guess before we jump into it, full spoilers.
1, 2, spoilers coming for you.
This is I enjoyed this movie. This fucking movie was I was uncomfortable. It was very tense for me.
Yeah.
I think my only thing is, which weirded me out, is seeing Sir Patrick Stewart as a bad guy.
Definitely.
But I mean,
I loved it though.
But it was good. Like
know?
I was before you guys got here, I was talking to my son about this, and he had seen this when it came out, and he really liked it too. He's like, you got to see this, and I said, I never felt that Patrick Stewart felt very intimidating for me. Like I felt all of the other guys were more, I don't know. I was more scared for the characters with the dog or with some of the other guys versus Patrick Stewart. I never felt like, I mean, obviously he runs it all, but I don't.
That's the scary that I like though is, he's not your, tattoos and mohawks kind of guy. He's the guy running shit.
Yeah.
And that makes him even scarier to me. Yeah. He's the smart guy that's paying his taxes and staying within the law, but still, because there's a point in this movie where he says this is a movement, not a party.
Yes.
And I loved that.
Yeah.
It's true. Such a ruthless guy.
And he gets everyone else to do all of the dirty work for him.
Exactly.
And they have no issue at all with this at all,
What I really liked about this one is that every single one of these characters, from the band to the skinheads to even to Patrick Stewart, although I would agree, I would think that it kind of took it away. He took me out of it a little bit. But every one of those skinhead kids and every one of those punk rock kids, I believed were skinhead kids.
They're believable, yes.
They look exactly like that. They didn't seem like they were acting to me.
Well, like Jake and I, we're musicians. We've played in bands. We've traveled and done shows. And I've seen so many movies where the band comes out and you're going, I've been around musicians my whole life. None of them act like you are. It's always like, hey, here's our drummer. He's a wild card. No, I'm a drummer and I'm boring as balls.
Yeah, he's got like 6-pack abs, and that it's like what the kid from what's that show? That My School Musical. Zac Efron. Zac Efron, and he's a punk from the streets, but he's got a 6-pack and
or it's like, look,
he's all tanned.
Look at him, he's crazy. Yeah. He's eating glass. And it's like, shut the fuck up. I don't know anybody like that. I've met a couple nut jobs out there, but at the same time, when you're in a traveling band, there is a business involved in it. It's like, who wouldn't want to say, I'm going to jump in a truck with my buddies and travel the country? Well, eventually you're going to have to eat. Eventually you're going to have to sleep. Eventually you're going to have to fucking shower.
Yeah.
That is a commodity on the road, man. I remember once going on the road, I brought a big ass pack of baby wipes with me, and other bands were giving me money to get a hold of my baby wipes because it's been 3 days since we've gotten somewhere we can take a shower. Damn. You can't afford hotels all the time when you're trying to sleep 6 or 7 dudes.
Yeah.
The only thing about this movie that wasn't believable for me is they didn't have any friends with them. It was just the band.
Yeah.
There's no roadies. There's nobody helping you grab gear. There's nobody taking over to drive. There's nobody watching merch. Like if you're in a band and you're traveling, you always at least have one kid with you.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
I've been to my fair share of shows, especially smaller, like say local bands or indie bands, and they always have a couple people. Always someone selling shirts or whatever nowadays.
Or an extra body if you need to fight your way out of a club.
At the same time, that's a forgivable sin to me. That didn't take me out of the movie.
It's the one thing that took it from me. That was the one thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, what I love about it, the tint to this, the whole movie, the whole fact that it's called Green Room. Obviously, we know why it's called Green Room, but there's a green tint through the whole movie that I love.
Yeah,
like it's little things like that you get me, and then I'm on board, right? And then I'm and I'm following this
And there's a literal Chekhov's gun in this. Like there is a moment where it's like, here's the gun, we're coming back.
Yep.
Yeah.
But then the way it comes back is not the way you fucking expected at all. Yeah. It's like, yes. Thank you.
So I guess we could run through the characters a little bit. The band, what are they called? The
Ain't Rights.
The Ain't Rights.
Which when they come to this place, since these guys are so anti slang, they call them the aren't rights.
The aren't
because they're like, that's street talk. We don't do that.
We don't do that. Well, we got Pat. We have, I think Pat the No, Pat was what?
Anton Yelkin.
He's the bass player.
He's the bass player.
He's the bass player. Yeah.
Sam was what was she playing? Was she guitar?
I think she played guitar.
She played guitar.
Yeah. You know, Reese. Was Reese the shit? I don't know. You guys are gonna know this, but
to me, there was just the other
Reese,
two guys.
Tiger, and was it Tad? Because there was 5 of them, right?
No, so Tad was
Tad?
Tad's the kid with the mohawk.
Oh, the one that where they
brings
go
them out, and basically Tad's the cousin of one of these guys, and says, you know, my cousins will give you this show. And
One thing I've got to ask you is when they get there and they meet. You know, are you Danny or Dan?
Oh,
and
Daniel,
like,
yeah.
Daniel.
Yeah.
And then he says something kind of threatening to the guys, and I never could make out exactly what he was saying. It was something about Sam, but I didn't pick it up.
No, it wasn't about Sam. It was about his girlfriend, the girl who gets killed in the green room.
Oh.
Because he says something like, because Tad was basically saying like, oh yeah, my cousin and his girlfriend are coming here tomorrow, so I got to clean up. But they're like fighting or something like that. And so he basically says, oh, so I hear you and your lady are getting out of here. And he's like, shut the fuck up.
Oh,
don't talk about that. Because they're getting ready
that all makes sense,
yeah,
Carl.
they're getting ready to bounce on the movement.
Yeah.
And
That's right. Okay, shit. Yeah.
That's more or less what
perfect
it was.
sense.
He grabs him by the throat and he was
Yeah.
like, you don't fucking talk about that. And
Yeah.
basically he just intimidates him and saying like, you keep us out of your mouth.
Like, honestly, the way I took it is I thought, oh, did he say something about Sam being Jewish or something? That's what I assumed. I couldn't make it out. I rewound it like twice and I couldn't make out what the guy was saying. But
No, he was just telling him like, do not talk about us at all.
getting old, man.
Especially since you know that we're leaving. Like that's the whole that's the whole basis on where all this shit happens is because they find out that they're leaving. Because I guess it's kind of just thrown out there, but there's a member of their group that's in jail. And allegedly the story is this girl narked on him.
Oh.
And so that's why he's there, because when he finds the car with all their shit in the trunk, there's the bat wrapped in plastic. And it's like,
that's right.
yeah, this
And they were
guy
gonna
is
take that bat to turn it into the cops.
turn it in. Like this guy's in prison and this is our leverage. We have this weapon that proves this guy did it. And basically, because they don't really say it, but they're like going into, they're running away from it because they're change of heart. Who knows?
Yeah.
They're done with the whole thing. Maybe they still have that hatred in their heart, but they're just not into the movement anymore.
Sure. See, damn. I now that you're saying it, it all makes sense.
Yeah.
But watching it just once, I feel like you got to watch this another time just to kind of pick up on some of the nuances of it.
If nothing else, it's worth watching just to look at all the stickers in the background.
Yeah.
If you've
Right.
ever been into
Right.
punk
Yeah,
rock,
yeah.
it's like, dude, these guys did their homework. There are so many cool things in there.
Yeah.
And what I also loved about it is they keep talking about the Desert Island Band, right? Sure. And you got the one guy in the band that's like, yep, I'm true to the game, Misfits. And everybody else is like, fucking Creedence, Prince.
Yeah, Prince.
And it's like,
Yeah.
yes,
But
absolutely.
didn't they kind of change that? Like everybody was saying, punk bands
No,
at
at-
first,
yeah,
and
at
then
first-
as the movie went along, they
at
were starting to
first-
say Prince.
Yeah, when they basically were
Simon and Garfunkel was one,
Right.
and
Yes.
I love Simon and Garfunkel.
love
I don't
it,
give a
love
shit.
it. But when they're facing their mortality, they're like, all right, I'm done being street. I'm bringing it. This is who I really am.
Yeah.
And that was fantastic because, I mean, I know so many kids like that would basically say something like, oh, yeah, fucking DI, all day DI. But then it's like, dude, you got Joni Mitchell in your record collection.
Right.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
never.
that's a big part of a punk growing up is that when you start to be able to admit the stuff that you like that you wouldn't tell anybody about when
Exactly.
you're young.
Yeah, I'm gonna get made fun of because I fucking love Pearl Jam.
Yeah.
And that kind of shit. That's one of those things where it's
Absolutely.
like, no, you can't love Pearl Jam. No, and it's like, well, Eddie Vedder sang on a Bad Religion record, so fuck you. I can like Pearl Jam a lot.
Dude,
Well, I expect the high school because Carl and I went to the same high school. I'm not going to say which one it was, but I feel like the scene at our high school was particularly McCarthyistic. There was a whole like poser this, poser that.
Oh yeah,
You were
No,
always
you-
being
you-
evaluated.
You said something to me once that made perfect sense, and it was like, punk rock was basically invented by kids who couldn't be accepted anywhere else. But then in the whole hierarchy of punk rock, it's just a bunch of people that are like, you are not punk rock enough to be accepted in our circle.
Yeah.
So it's
I think a big part of that was the particular high school that we went to, because then I met like other kids. We went to Bella Vista, but then I met a bunch of punk kids from Roseville. I met a bunch of punk kids from Del Campo, and they were all like really warm and welcoming and nice. And I'm like, oh shit, all the people I've been around at high school, it's been really scary to be around them. Like
some of them,
I don't want to tell people what I like or what I do around these people.
No, I've met some kids that in my time where it's like, you're not going to live very long. You just know it.
And turns out they didn't.
And some of them didn't. And it's sad because it's like there's definitely something behind the scenes that we don't know about.
Yeah.
And like for punk rock, like it always blows me away because whenever I talk to people about it, I'm in my 40s now, and I have never made a lot of money doing it. But when somebody goes, "Oh, you're a musician. What do you play?" There's this kind of like hidden shame in it where it's like, I play in a punk
rock.
I'm playing punk rock. Yeah, I'm a grown man, but I'm playing punk rock.
No shame in that, man.
But at the same time, and it's mainly because of everybody else's perspective. When you talk about something to somebody who doesn't know what you're talking about, they're like, "Oh, so you're like anti-government and hate God." And it's like, no, like, one of my favorite bands sings songs about having a head that doesn't fit hats. It's like it doesn't. All our music doesn't just base on fucking.
Yeah, it's like
Ronald Reagan is the devil. It's like, no, that's not. Well, that's not what it. There are those bands out there. Don't get me wrong, but that's not the antithesis of why I do it.
Well, then I mean, but see, people make comments like that. They're just not educated in really the genre at all. Like, I mean, because you're classified under a blanket statement, and you can't do that with anything.
Right.
But some idiot people will do that.
Well, like this movie, perfect example. Not all skinheads are racist.
Yeah,
that is
true.
The whole skinhead movement was started. It was an anti-government movement.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, my black friend can't come around because he's black. Well, screw that. He's my friend, and we're gonna shave our heads together and fuck the man. And that was the whole basis of it. And then you got this group that took it to a whole different extreme, and that's what this movie is based on.
Yeah. Okay. Out of the blue, top three, not top three punk bands, top three punk band names. Go.
Oh shit!
I know I'm putting you on the spot right now.
Oh shit! I always loved the name. Well, they're not really punk, but
that's my problem.
Fuck it. Let's go. Your favorite three band names. It doesn't have to be punk.
There's a band out there called the Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza, and I always thought that name was fucking awesome. They're not my favorite. I've listened to a few of their songs, but that is a great band name. There was another band. They're called Ass Backwards, but their name is just SSA.
Oh, okay.
And so it's the hidden meaning is it's ass backwards.
Yeah.
And when I first
got
that was pretty freaking cool. Let me think. Who else?
I got one. What about the Skeletones?
I love the Skeletones. That's a great
cool.
name.
That's a cool name.
Oh God, you got me digging into the library right now.
Well, it's hard too because
I don't even have my library card. So
it's hard because I think that when I like a band, I start liking the name more, even if it's a stupid name. Like No Use for a Name. Love No Use for a Name.
Yeah.
That would have been a stupid name for a band, but you change what you think of the name because you like the band.
Or the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic name because it tells you everything about them. They're loud, they're obnoxious, and they're from Boston.
The Aquabats.
I love it. Love the band too. Love the band.
Ska bands do a good job, I think.
Well, that's cool.
Ska bands, because what's great about a lot of ska bands is they have that, that tongue in cheek.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are up here to have fun, and that's the whole goal of what we're doing.
Yeah.
There was a band I heard of recently called Abracadabra. I thought that was great. That's a great name. Abracadabra. I love that.
For those of you that don't know, that became a thing in ska bands that they would get the word ska into their band somewhere. Or their band name.
Or it was always a goofy reference to a movie,
Save
like
Ferris.
Save Ferris.
No doubt.
No doubt. Yeah. That
Real Big Fish.
Real Big Fish, another great band.
Not the original ones. These are like the Fat Records. If you were to say punk and then you say the Fat Records bands, there was like the 90s pop ska and not the original ska.
No, like the original ska was, like you had Ska Voovie and the Epitones or something like that. And then,
Hepcat.
I'm sorry, but the Wailers was a ska band. And Bob Marley turned it into something else and it became reggae. And But I mean, there was a lot of those older bands that they had those really cool names. And even like your old punk rock bands, like, you have like your JFA, your
Operation Ivy,
your Reagan Youth, these are really good bands and really cool names. But at the same time, when you're trying to find a name like that's one of the hardest things in being in a band.
Yeah.
You can write songs all day, but it's like, what do I want to tell people we're called?
And if you have any longevity, in 10 years, do you want to keep saying that name? Like, did you find it getting old and it's just not current anymore, or it just doesn't work anymore?
Like, bust out some old Butt Trumpet. That's another band, Butt Trumpet. Fucking, are you serious?
Some of the metal bands did a decent job of that, although it's their thing that you can't read their name when it's on a flyer anyway. But Anal Cunt probably gets their point across.
Yeah.
Anal Cunt. Yeah, that was another one. Another great band name was RKL, Rich Kids on LSD.
That's great.
That was a great band.
My favorite one of all time, though, and not because of what it actually is. I just like the way it sounds when it comes out of my mouth. There's two bands I'm going to say. One, Social Distortion.
Yeah, fucking great.
The way it rolls off the tongue is nice. And Joy Division.
Yeah. And the other, Suicidal Tendencies. That's another fantastic band name.
It is.
The way it comes out of the mouth.
Yeah. And what's great about with a lot of those bands, like, they've actually disappeared from their original name, because now it's like, I'm listening to Suicidal. You don't even have to say Suicidal Tendencies.
No Use.
Or Social D. Or No Use. Or New Fan. There's but then you have your great bands that have terrible names.
Oh, fuck.
There's lots of them. And I'm
Butthole Surfers.
Oh, my God.
Perfect example.
Was it what Toad's Wild? Was that
Toad the Wet Sprocket?
Yeah, Toad the Wet Sprocket. Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Yeah.
It makes me think of the Disneyland ride.
Yeah, that's
Toad's
a weird
Wild
one.
Ride or
That's
some
a weird
shit.
one.
I don't know.
I think Toad the Wet Sprocket is actually from a Monty Python sketch.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think that's where they got that.
But
name.
I will always, again, whether I like the name or not, or the music or not, I just love if you put some sort of time and energy and creativity into something. I respect it.
Another name that when I first heard it, I didn't really like it because I thought it was kind of foofy, was the Gin Blossoms.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But then I actually learned what a gin blossom is.
Yeah, I didn't
and I
know
was
that
like,
until
that's freaking awesome. A gin blossom is the blotches you get from being an alcoholic.
Oh shit.
I loved that.
I had no idea.
There was another
either.
band that I heard of called the Morning Stiffs. I thought that was
that's
really
a fucking
good.
great name.
And they're not at all what you would expect. You're thinking this goofy punk rock band, and they're actually a very well thought out, very talented band. So we can go all day if you want.
I feel like
that.
nowadays that everyone is so lazy with what. There's no creativity anymore at all with any of the names.
There's too many bands out there, dude. If you look
There
at any
is.
flyer for a festival, I'm like, I'm not reading all of that shit.
Yeah. And I mean, nowadays, it's just as easy to just call your band Carl.
Carl.
We're Carl.
We're
You
Carl.
know what? Someone made a comment. I was talking to my friend Steve, and was talking about a band that came out a couple years ago. They were on like an Amex commercial, but they were called The Tracks. And my friend Steve actually made the comment, they're called The Tracks. How did they land a one-word name? Because if you think of any single word, it's probably a band name somewhere in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, anymore it's like trying to find any sort of originality. It's hard. Like you get an idea and you're like, oh shit, someone already has that.
Yeah.
Shit.
It's tough, man. It's tough. Well, I mean, there was a time I took a class in college for music business. And there was a time where there was this guy who basically went out and patented every type of 3-chord configuration. to try to monopolize. So it's like, if you ever put 3 chords together, I wrote that. I came up with that before you did. You owe me money. And so basically he lost the deal because it was like, that's more or less a monopoly. You can't have a monopoly on music.
Sure. Yeah.
But he
And
tried
at the same time too, whenever that was going on, I'm sure those 3 chords have already been used in songs before you got to it too. So.
Yeah,
I mean, you could always, I mean, that argument always goes back, you know. It's like the South Park one. Simpsons did it.
Yeah.
Simpsons
You can
did
say
it,
the same thing about music.
Damn
Yeah,
it, what did he
Zeppelin
do?
did that shit. Oh yeah, the Beatles did that shit.
Yeah.
Fuck, I heard that song on a Rolling Stones record. It's like
Yeah.
all you can really do with music anymore is just put your feelings out there and hope somebody's on board with
Right.
it. You know,
Right?
I'm with you.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, hopefully it resonates with someone, and it always does.
Yeah.
Someone will always gravitate towards it.
Yeah.
It may not be as many people as you would like,
Yeah, not me.
but you know, someone somewhere is going to like it, you know?
I don't know. I'm still trying to listening to my own band stuff on Spotify to hopefully one day get it above that, you know, less than 1,000 listens. Sometimes if I'm not going to be around my phone, I'll put my phone down with the record playing and walk away from it because someday, man, someday.
I've heard people who do that. They're like, no, I just put it on repeat on YouTube because once it reaches a certain level of likes or watches, that's when you can actually legally monetize it.
Yeah, I think you have
shit.
to have 1,000 subscribers, and then you can.
And there's a lot of people out there. There's actually, you can farm for
That's what I was
watchers.
wondering about. Yeah,
You can do it. You can hit up certain organizations and say, I want this to reach 1 million likes, and they will get there. They will get you to that. Even if it's
interesting.
I'm to the
something
point where
awful.
I'm going to look into that because, hey, LesterSons.com, guys. Lester Sons Band. Spotify, YouTube, check us out. It would really make me feel good if we got one of those songs over 1,000 listens.
It's funny because I have a fan that sits next to when I play, and the sticker on the top is a Lesser Sun sticker.
Yeah. Well, we got some stickers right here, man.
Oh,
Next time you come on, you have to bring some of you know. another
I'll
damn
bring
disappointment.
swag, man.
Yeah,
I'll
bring
bring
some
swag
stuff.
for sure.
I guess we should get back to the movie.
Oh, yeah.
I like talking about this shit.
Ain't
though.
rights.
The ain't rights. Shit ain't right. This fucking. Oh man, this scene right here is fucking gnarly. So, god damn it. So they do the show at this bar, right? And they start out their set with the cover of Dead Kennedys.
Oh my
Well, I'm like,
God.
what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah.
We got to talk about that.
Yes,
No,
please.
like, I'm going to tell you honestly, man, I've played some shows where there's a lot of hairless dudes hanging around, and the last thing I'm going to do is try to piss that big guy off.
Not the nice kind.
Oh my God. And so with this setup, they play Nazi Punks Fuck Off by the Dead Kennedys, which
I mean, that's punk as fuck.
it's punk as fuck, and it's actually a great song, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, I would never play that song on a job site. I would never put that in my radio in a room full of people because no matter where you go, you're going to have a difference of opinions.
Yeah,
And, you know, there's a song by the Descendants that is hard to play. It's called American. And it basically just talks about, hey, before you say you're proud of being an American, you got to remember we took our country from England. We stole it from the Indians, got on our side, guns in our hand. We took it for our own. And it's like, damn, that's deep, dude. But there's a lot of people nowadays, especially, they're like, this dude needs to shut the fuck up. And it's just like,
Yeah.
come on, guy.
Yeah, no, I felt like that could have gone. I mean, obviously it goes south in this movie, but it could have gone right then and there.
There's a better decision that could have been made for your
I think-
opener.
I was
guarantee you that.
surprised. I was surprised they gave him a second song to play.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, no, I was too.
yeah.
I kept waiting for the PA to shut off because
Yeah.
I've had that happen before.
Really?
You piss off enough people, the PA shuts off.
PA shuts
and
off.
it's like, all right, they just told us to get the fuck out of here.
Sure.
So they do their set. They go to collect their money, right? And Sam leaves her cell phone in the room, and Pat goes back in there. And fuck, they killed. What was the girl's name?
I think it
name
was
was
Emily.
Emily.
Yeah, Emily.
Like she's got a damn knife sticking out of her temple there, right?
I love the way the dude proves that she's dead.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
that
like-
was great.
They're like, maybe it's fake. There's not a lot of blood. And he grabs her and drags her by the knife. And you're like, fuck. She's definitely dead.
Yeah,
That's how I knew that guy was one of the bad guys.
Yeah. Well, no. So
What was that,
guy,
Worm? Was that Worm?
Yeah.
Worm.
I knew that guy was the bad guy because he's the one walking through the crowd while they're playing Nazi punk.
Yeah.
Pissed off and spits beer at him.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like, that dude is fucking scary. Like,
And now he was in one of the other bands that were playing that show, right? Was he?
I don't think he was.
No, I don't think he was. I
No,
think he was
'cause-
just there. Yeah.
And what's great is how he comes up to him afterwards and he was like, your set was pretty hard, man. What was your second to last song? And they tell him and he's like, yeah, that's the one I did her to. And you're just like,
That's some fucked up
bro.
shit, dude.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like-
that's the dude you never want to fuck with.
But the
man.
fact
Yeah.
that he walked up and was like, you guys brought it pretty hard, man. It's just like, thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, dude. Fuck.
we're all gonna fucking die.
I am so afraid of you. You can have everything in my wallet right now. Just please walk away.
I will say, like, I really did like this movie. The only problem that I had with it is the same problem that I'm gonna have with a lot of the plot points. Is do I believe that the situation? Did I believe it getting to where it got to in order for the plot to happen? I'm just like, not even the worst run organizations in the world would be dumb enough to let a murder like that get so out of hand in the middle of a show with people that are all there, a band from out of town. If you think about it for a second, it's like everybody in that band probably had contact with somebody who was going to be expecting them in another spot. And I know he did say something about, does this band have people expecting them in the next place? I just think a murder that, in the green room of a show where you've got other bands walking around.
Yeah.
Didn't think, when they could have just walked out into the woods with someone and done it out there.
Oh, definitely. Or they had that that portable, whatever that thing was that the one dude was in. He was doing all the books and stuff, and he was handing out money. It was like that trailer.
Yeah.
Like you could have done it there.
Yeah.
You could have done it there. That's separate from everything else.
Not in the green room when you have another band from out of town still on the premises, still around.
Well, I think the way they kind of put it, like, it wasn't necessarily planned that they were going to do it that way, but it was more or less like they found out, all right, she's up to something. They're getting ready to leave. We got to do this now.
Yeah.
Is what I gathered from it, because they find the note,
napkin with
the wolf Fleisch
wolf
on it, and it's like,
because it was on the band set, and then it was on the napkin, right? So
Yes.
this is a song we're leaving to. Was that? Okay.
Once
Yeah.
this song comes on, that's our cue to get the fuck out.
Okay.
Because they were basically they were going to do the Irish goodbye. They were going to leave without saying a word.
Yeah.
And then, because remember, at the one point they come out and they see, it's bugging me. What's the Daniel?
Yeah.
They see Daniel in the car, and they're
Oh,
like,
that's
they're
right.
like, what are you doing? We need you here.
Yeah.
And then he stashes his keys under the visor.
That's right. Yeah, because they
Because
said, "Oh, you
came
got a
out-
new car." Or
he
something
had
like
the
that.
car running, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I was starting it because the battery keeps dying, so I just wanted to charge it." And really, what he was doing is he was getting in the car. She's getting ready to leave, but they were like, "Hey, before you go, we need to talk about something real quick." And then, so I don't think it was planned. It just escalated quickly.
That
Yeah,
makes
no.
sense. Like, I'm glad I'm talking to you about it, because there were little things that came up and I had questions, and
I questioned that
mostly
as
was
well,
a lot
yeah.
of things that I just didn't make out because I'm probably deaf, but it all makes perfect sense now.
Now, was Amber going?
Oh, dude.
Was Amber going with them?
Subtitles.
Subtitles. I know.
I am deaf as a post, but I watch every movie with subtitles.
I have a
now.
few friends that do that.
Everyone.
Yeah.
And it just helps me because you hear what they're saying, but every once in a while a word just kind of goes, okay, hold on
Absolutely.
a second.
So
I
tell
have to
me-
look at the bottom of the screen to find out what the hell
Yeah,
he just
yeah,
said.
yeah. What was Amber's role in this? Was she just her friend? Was she
Emily's
going
friend.
with them?
She was just a friend.
Just a
yeah.
friend.
She,
She
just
wasn't
happened
going
to be
anywhere.
there.
She
Okay.
just happened to witness it.
So one of those wrong place, wrong time type things.
Right.
Yeah. But oh my God,
But
dude.
again, not the best time to murder somebody.
True.
No.
And did they murder her because they found out she was leaving?
Well, she was leaving because she had dimed on somebody.
Okay.
Because remember,
Yeah.
they had the bat.
That's right.
They had the
that's
bat.
Because they kept saying,
But did they
like,
know that she had ratted the person out?
they had a suspicion, I believe, and so they were kind of like, "We need to talk to you real quick and ask you." And they find out, like, "Oh, she's getting out of here."
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That's one of the glories of this movie is you don't really know, because you kind of see when the Ain't Rights are on stage.
Yeah. I
you
thought
see
she was
her
doing drugs or
she's
something.
Yeah, it looks like she's doing some deal,
They're
yeah.
passing something, and she looks all nervous, and she's like, she's giving the "I'll be right back" kind of thing, and he's kind of eyeballing it like something weird's going on here,
Yeah.
which I'm gonna call bullshit on that one because I've been on stage many times, and yeah, you're not really focusing on what's going on out there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for the sake of
at the same time, it's a movie. You got
It's a movie.
You can also
Yeah.
see the scene where Patrick Stewart and the other guy are walking back out to the crowd in the middle of a set, and they're kind of speaking to each other at a slightly elevated tone. You can't hear.
You can't
Yeah,
hear shit.
that's
Dude, your recent that show when Darren and I came in and saw you downtown,
The Old Ironsides, yeah.
I fucking couldn't hear for 3 days after that.
It's-
It was small little venue, dude. It was so fucking loud. There's no way you can even have a conversation. So
No.
no, yeah. But for the sake of the movie, it's you kind of just go with it, right?
Here's the
It's-
worst thing about that, though, is that when you know you can't hear somebody, and so they lean in and they get right in your ear, and then
yell.
they scream, and you're like, dude,
you can get
talk.
You can get right into somebody's ear and let them know what's going on. You don't have to be like, "Yeah, I was at the park with my brother."
So whenever they do that, I always
God.
plug my ear when someone's starting to lean in.
Yeah.
I plug my ear and let them scream. But
No, I learned that a long time ago. I have proper talking in your ear etiquette. I will never yell at you. I will never yell at you. It's already loud enough. I don't need to get ground zero and blow out your eardrums. That's just not necessary.
So the scene, there's some gnarly shit happening when Amber cuts open, what was his name, Big Justin or whatever.
Oh, when she unzips
fucking
him,
Yeah.
dude, what the
Good Lord.
fuck, man?
I
Well,
feel
what's-
like that was way too easy too. That took me out of it a little bit.
A little
it was like
bit.
she was cutting him open with a lightsaber.
a little bit, but yeah, they were trying to get one of the other guys to sleep in his belly.
I
for
mean,
a
because
minute, but-
it looked like he was choking him out anyways, and there was a good chance he was going to die.
But see what they were asking is they're like, because remember he chokes him out and then he wakes
up, yeah.
yeah.
and then he chokes him out again, and they're like, well, how do you know when he's finally out? And she's just like,
Fuck it.
zip,
Yeah, he's out
and
now.
just slices his gut open, and it's like, good God.
I felt, maybe I wasn't supposed to. I felt a little bad for Big Justin, a little bit. Just a little bit, because he was put in a situation that he didn't want to fucking be in.
Yeah, but
There wasn't. There
Look,
was an
I know there's
element of that.
repercussions. I know there's repercussions, but I felt a little bit, not like a lot. But
I
a little
actually
bit.
really liked that character because of how big and intimidating he is.
Oh, yeah.
But I also liked where he's like, he's only got 5 bullets. They're called cartridges.
The bullet.
The bullet is the part that goes through your fucking brain. And I was just like, ugh, I like this guy.
But then, what would the negotiation with the gun? If you're in that situation, are you giving up that gun?
No.
No fucking
No.
way. I'm giving that up.
No.
I take my chances.
However, I mean, but they did raise a good point because they were like, they go, well, we have the gun. And they're like, yeah, we got lots of guns, dude.
Yeah.
Your little 5-shooter is not going to get you out of here. So it's like, it's tough because that's what made Patrick Stewart so effective is like when he's talking, you're like, I want to hear what you have to say. This is the one guy that doesn't sound like he's going to scream "Oi" in my face while he's putting boots in my teeth.
Yeah.
This guy is the voice of reason, and the way they put that across with him just being this real well-spoken guy, it was like, I don't know. Would I buy what he's selling? Because I probably would just to get out. And when you're in a situation like that where you're stuck and it's like, all right,
Yeah.
they're basically either way we come out of here, we're coming out on a slab. Like,
Yeah.
we saw something we don't need to see, and
Yeah.
they're never going to let us leave.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to come off as though I'm brave by any stretch, but at the same time, like they had to know once they killed Big Justin, once they witnessed the murder, that it's fight or flight. It's live or die. So you
Pretty
keep the
much.
damn gun and you say, this is where I'm going out. This is where I'm going out. Hopefully I can get 1 or 2 of them before I do.
I think I would take my chances with the gun. Yeah, if I can get a few of them, then maybe our chances are a little better than me just handing it over. And then they cut the hell out of Pat's. Oh my God, that was gnarly.
Yeah.
That was fucking gnarly. And then duct tape it, because
And
duct
then
tape works for everything.
Oh yeah, dude, duct tape will save the world one day.
I will tell you guys
If you
this.
can't duck it, fuck it.
And I've already been in trouble for this. This is a bad habit I have as a father. But I was hanging out with my 9-year-old last night when I wanted to get a second watch in. And so we're watching the movie. Mom's not home. Big brother's not home. They were out at a thing. and he's watching it, and halfway through it, and I see, the part where the hand's cut, and Andrew, I love you, man. He just starts looking away, and he's like, can we press pause and turn this off? And I'm like, yeah, here. So I had to give him my phone and some earbuds and sit next to him while I watched the rest of the movie. But man, I watched too many bad movies with that kid.
That one, yeah, no, that was definitely one of the parts of this movie where it's like, damn, that looks really brutal.
Yeah.
I also really liked how they kind of show him he's getting pale.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times have you seen a movie? Like, I heard you were talking about the new Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Sure.
So she gets a spike jammed through her hand, and they wrap it up and move on like nothing happened.
like
And
she's
it's like,
okay.
I'm sorry, dude. I have a cut on my finger from last night, and I'm fucking miserable.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I know. Yeah.
Something that actually impales you is going to cause a lot more than wrap it up. Let's get on with life. And I kind of like how he's just like in a daze.
He's in a daze,
for the rest of the movie because
pretty much.
Dude, you lost a lot of blood.
And
bro.
Amber does that too because she gets shot and whatever else, and she's like, she comes in and out of things, and it's like that's more believable.
Right, exactly.
But these damn attacks, dude, like when the dog attacks the
tiger.
I mean, dude, the throat, and it's fucked up. Or when the one dude comes out of the window and they just start stabbing him. I'm like, fuck.
But see, that's what I didn't get. Were they stabbing him or were they hitting him with a hammer?
Oh no,
they
they
were
stabbed
stabbing
him. They stabbed him. Yeah, like
because he gets fucked up. And what was messed up about that is when he even says to him, "Is he still breathing?"
Yeah,
and they go, "Yeah, a little bit." And he's like, "Well, just let him bleed."
Yeah.
And
I'm like, that's fucked up.
That messed me up because that character was the one character that you knew, like, this is the guy that has the best chance getting him out of here.
Yep.
Because he choked out a dude twice his size.
Yeah, he did.
You know?
He did.
And
yeah.
he even says, like, he was like in a tournament, he would tap out, but not now. Because he was, you could tell he was a wrestler and was doing his thing.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu, I think.
Jiu-jitsu, yeah.
Oh, just... This movie's so
even
good.
still,
this movie's so good.
I'm here for it. I was going along for that ride, but even going back to when the cops had come and they had to get two guys to stab each other, it just felt like too much to cover up, one murder. Whereas you're a skinhead, you got this whole organization out here. You want everybody out of here. Maybe because they had the big drug operation, they really weren't going to let anybody go. But at the same time, you have to know that these skinny punk kids are scared shitless. And you look them in the eye and be like, I know who you are. I know what band you're in. So I know where you're going to be. Don't ever fucking come back to Oregon again.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just me being wishful, but I just feel like it would have been easier to just scare the shit out of him and get him out of there.
Right.
Then have two guys pretend to stab each other. But
well, no, see, I liked that part because the reason they did that is because the kid Pat had already made the phone call and said there's a stabbing, and they couldn't stop it, and they were like, "Yeah, we did have a stabbing here," because everybody knows if you call 911 and the phone call ends, they are going to call you back.
Yeah.
So I did like that. It's like, all right,
I thought it was smart.
Take a stick in the ribs and move on. And
I had no issue with it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
that was good.
Because it was the only way they could keep the cops outside.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because otherwise, it's like, all right, we were told there's a stabbing here. We have to search the premises.
Yeah.
And they weren't. They can't have that happen.
Oh no.
Because you're gonna find a scared punk band and a girl with a knife in her head.
And at the same time, why are you stabbing a chick in the head in the middle of a show? With outsiders.
Well, hold on.
In front of her friend.
You're also asking the rationality of a group of Nazi skinheads. I mean, there's a lot of things.
It's an organization.
There it is.
Worm seemed a little.
He's a loose cannon.
Thank you, Carl. He was a loose cannon. Yeah.
How did they get him to shut up and move on? They gave him drugs. But remember, they were like, "What's the stamp on here?" And he says it's the stamp of this other group that they know of, this black group that sells drugs. And so he puts the stamp on his drugs so they won't come back to him. And so they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna give you a bunch of dope. Party's on us. Get the fuck out of here."
And at the end, so you see that he has OD'd and he's dead, but the guy next to him is still holding cereal up to his mouth.
No, that was Worm. Worm is the one holding the cereal.
The other guy had a needle in his arm.
And I don't know
what was he doing? Did he pass out? Or, is he
no,
ODing with cereal in his hand?
He was just jacked on something, and he was. I've never had my run with heroin. I've never touched it. I've known too many people who did.
Yeah.
I've never heard a good story of it. So it was
No,
never one where
I
I
don't
was
think
like,
there's ever a good
"Hey, I'm going to
story."
give that a shot. It sounds like it might be great. And so, because I was always under the impression that under certain drugs, you can't eat, you can't do stuff. But I've also heard stories with heroin. It's like, yeah, you're still hungry, but your faculties aren't all there. So he was just high staring at the TV. And what I kind of liked about that is like that guy is the cause of all this chaos.
Yep.
And while everybody else is fighting for their lives, he's watching TV eating a bowl of cereal, which I thought was really cool. It was like, yeah, it just goes to show not everybody who deserves it gets it. You know, he's chilling and doing his own thing.
Well, I think
he's going to have a body he needs to get rid of anyway. So maybe
Eventually.
things don't work out for Worm.
no.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
But they even say in this, they're like, Worm might have saved us all and all this stuff. And they're constantly talking about how Worm's sacrifice is like the benefit to their cause.
Yeah. Did you dude, I was watching this last night going, are you fucking kidding me? I love the trope that they threw in this where they come out of the room. They're like, oh, we should all separate. We should all like in every horror movie, what's the problem? Let's kind of split up because we'll be safer that way. No, you stick together. And they did this and I started laughing. I'm like, really? You threw that trope in here, because I mean, oh damn, that's brutal. But I mean, there's the scenes in here, the deaths in here they're
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The only one that really made me sad was Sam.
That was fucked up, man.
I didn't like what happened with Sam because, like, it was funny because remember they kept talking when they had the gun in the first place.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, no, I don't want that thing. And Pat was the only one that was like, he even said, I don't want the gun.
Yeah.
But then he ends up being the one that's holding it. And so when Sam finally does get a gun in her hand, she gets off one bad shot and gets eaten by a dog.
Fucking sucks, dude.
And
it's realistic. It's realistic.
It's very
just because you got a gun in your hand doesn't mean you know how to use it.
Exactly.
Just because you've seen people do it does not mean you.
Not to mention you're scared shitless.
Exactly.
So like
Dude,
somebody farting, oh shit, it's just any at that point.
Oh, here it is right here.
You're so terrified.
here's
You don't know how to move. Yeah,
here's the part, dude. Yeah. Yeah, you get one. Yeah, you get one. Oh my god. Dude.
Yeah,
and then the dog fucking attacks her.
The one bullet.
I didn't think I honestly thought she was going to survive. I thought it'd be Amber that would get it, and Sam would somehow survive. Oh no, she got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Damn.
Amber,
Amber was the one that was better looking.
Yeah, there's that too. But Amber had the best line in the whole movie, and that's the one at the very end.
Oh, the very end.
At the very end, when he was like,
I know my desert
he
island.
goes, I know my desert island. She's like, tell somebody who cares, or tell someone who gives a shit.
Yeah.
It's like, just because we've been through this thing together doesn't mean that we're friends. I don't like you.
I was wondering, did they end up together after this?
Oh,
I don't know, dude. I don't know. I have a feeling no. I think it was just they're in that situation and they're doing the best they can to survive. And then after that, they go their separate ways, man. That's how I kind of look at it.
I like to think that they did.
They might have.
They started a new band.
They might have gone on and knocked a couple out, but at the same time, I don't think there's no longevity. They're not having kids together.
He's got a long hospital stay. She's going to be in there too, getting that bullet fished out of her thigh.
Not only that, every time she walks in the room, he's going to be like, "Oh yeah, you were there when all my friends were fucking murdered. I will never forget this." And
but I think she's just pretty enough for him to throw all that stuff aside. He doesn't have any friends. She's the only person.
They're all dead now.
No,
she's the only person he knows now.
She's very pretty. I've seen her in a few other things.
What's her name? Imogene Poots.
Yeah,
she's very pretty.
That's a good band name right there.
Yeah,
that's a good band
Imogene
name.
Poots.
Yeah, I like that.
You'd have to change it to Imogene Poops because she probably already has her name copyrighted.
Scamogene Poots.
I like the whole idea, though. They, Gabe seems to come to like, I don't know. I still thought that he had enough to do with this shit that he should have died.
Yeah.
But they let him go. I had a little bit of an issue with that.
Well,
like he could have. I know in that situation it's hard to be the voice of reason, I guess, and say we're not doing this. This is wrong because he's just gonna die. But I felt like he did enough shit that he should have.
Well, the thing is because remember, there's the part where what's Patrick Stewart's name in this?
Oh,
Darcy.
Darcy. Yeah.
Darcy. There's the part where Darcy gives him the laces.
Yeah.
And I really liked the way they showed that, like, laces is like your rank. And when he even tells him, he's like, I want everybody out here. The only people that are going to know about what happens next are red laces only. And it's because those are people that have actually spilt blood.
Yeah.
These are the hardcore pipe hitters. These are the ones that are there to do it.
Yeah.
And so when he gives Gabe the red laces, he even kind of alludes to the fact, like, you've never really spilt blood, but you've swept up enough of it that you are one of us now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they keep showing that, like, what I liked about Gabe is you keep seeing his character throughout the movie. There's, when things start happening, you keep seeing that look in his face of like, this is not right.
He's likable from the start.
He's very likable.
And I love the idea that, you know, the skinhead guys, it's not just a block of all, you know, like-minded people who are all one thing. You see, there's the guys like Daniel, what's his face's cousin, that he wants out, and then you got this guy who you can tell is conflicted the entire time of the movie. So there are,
and the guy with the dogs. That was another good character because
you could tell a little. He felt a little remorse, a little, not as much. I don't think as Gabe, but
no, he just cared about his dog.
He just cared about
the dogs. Yeah,
and because there was the part where he injects the dog with something. It was like he'll be dead in a couple hours.
Yeah.
But
what was that?
I don't know what the whole point of that was, but the whole idea, because they try to sweep it under the rug by saying like, oh, these guys snuck on our property.
Yeah.
We're trying to
siphon gas.
Siphon gas. They're trying to steal from us. So we shot them, and the dogs got them.
Well, no, I don't think they were going to do the shot. I think they just wanted to put him out in the field and let the van burn down, because he was telling the guys, like, hey, one shot, when they gave him guns finally, they said a single shot. If you have to do two, keep your grouping tight because you're going to be fishing the slugs out yourself.
Yes, because they wanted to be able to mangle the bodies enough with dogs and make them unrecognizable.
Yeah. Did you ever feel?
I didn't understand why he was going to kill the dog, but I did like the way he said, you know, it's a good way to say thank you by letting him die with fresh meat.
Meat in his mouth.
Yeah, with meat in his mouth. And so that was the one thing that I definitely gathered with that character. He only cared about his dog.
Yeah. I felt that when they got down and when they had broken the hole into the the floor and they got down to their little area where all the heroin was being done.
Yeah.
I almost thought, like, could they use the heroin to their advantage? Would they give a shit? Like, we're going to destroy it. I mean, this is a lot of fucking money for you. Like, I thought, because I've seen so many movies that comes into play, right?
Right.
We're going to use this against you. And I thought,
I don't think it doesn't change their scenario one way or another. What are they going to do? Pick up all that heroin and then walk out with it and say, hey, I'm going to throw it in the yard, you know?
Well, the other thing that we've kind of glazed over is they're in the woods in Oregon. There's nothing around.
There's nothing.
You know, it's like, I can wave your block of heroin around all day, but without eyeballs to see it, it's not going to help.
Not. It makes,
No, I mean,
I thought just destroying it, like, the product's expensive, right? Like, if they could somehow destroy the heroin, would that hold them some sort of cards? Like,
if you could light the place on fire and then sneak off while the other guys are preoccupied putting the fire out. But we know there's just one way out, and it's the one that's under guard. So, well,
there was a couple ways out, because remember the one guy, Reese, he escaped through a window.
Sure.
They said there was a door in the kitchen, but you're talking about a group, like, this is their spot. This is where they hang out. They know every exit. There's 3 or 4 guys posted up at every location.
Yep.
And with that, it's interesting because, how do we escape this? How do we get out?
We're very much being dicks, me in particular, picking the plot apart like that. Like, just go along for the movie.
Right.
Just go along for the ride.
Right. And
I didn't love the way the events unfolded. I didn't love the explanation to me, but at the same time, I didn't hate it either.
No, I had no issues with it. I mean, the thing about movies, sometimes it's always about convenience, right? Oh, well, that happened. It's very convenient for the plot of the movie, or to grab our hand and drag us along. And I didn't have a problem with it, at all.
I just have to keep going back to it. I've played in places that look exactly like that, and it brings back so much. Like, I'll give you a really good example. So I've never been in a scenario where we've seen, where there's a body in the green room.
Yeah.
But I played with this band a few years back, and we went on tour, and we end up in Reno. And the singer of our band, we brought another band with us to kind of split the cost of a rental van.
Yeah.
So we bring this other band with us, and they're playing, and nobody cares. Nobody's really getting involved.
Yeah.
So our singer's like, I'm going to go out there and start jumping around.
Yeah.
So he goes out and starts jumping around. Well, 4 songs into their set, he breaks his own ankle.
Oh, shit.
Breaks his own ankle. Has to go to the ER. We're up next. And so we're going to the promoter. We're like, our singer just broke his ankle. We can't play. And this is like a biker bar in Reno. And they're going,
fuck.
They basically look at us and say, you play or you're going to have a really hard time leaving. And they more or less told us, if you don't play this set right now, we're going to kick the shit out of you. We're like, okay,
yeah.
We're going to play. We're playing. And we forced our way through this set and in
the meantime, the singer was at the hospital.
He was in the ER.
And so someone else had to. Oh, fuck.
So our bass player had to put his bass down. He was like, I'll sing, but he didn't know the words. So he had to take one of our CDs and pull out the liner notes and read the lyrics while we played through this set. Dude. And there was like,
which bass player was that?
That was Ted. There was no breaks in between songs. It was like, I had a hood on the whole time. I was like, let's just play, dude. I'm scared shitless. Dang, it was a scary scene. And we played, we got out, and our singer shows up with a boot on. And so we spent the rest of the tour calling him an asshole. Like,
oh my God, dude.
Dude, you suck at life right now, man. Like,
that's a situation that could have just,
So when I saw this movie, it was like, I've been in situations not like this, but I've had scenarios where it's like, I'm fucking scared.
Could have been the same place, just a different day.
Exactly. This is scary. Yeah. We have no option. We have to get through this, or we're gonna get our asses handed to us. And
Like, Jake, you're saying like, there's plot stuff, right? But I feel this absolutely could happen. This could happen.
No, this is totally believable to me. And this part that we're watching right now, where they finally decided, all right, we're gonna fight back. We're gonna get this over with. I love how she's counting the rounds that are being fired and letting him know, like, all right, now's your chance. He's got 1 shot left. And so she's doing all these things to try to get him to shoot in the other direction.
Yeah.
And then here's Gabe.
And Gabe's cleaning up
the mess.
Pressure washing the place.
Pressure washing the blood off the wall with tarps on the ground.
That's crazy.
No, I absolutely loved this movie. It was so much fun.
Agreed.
Yeah, no, this was a good movie, man. I was, again, like I always say this, man, I love this condensed area. You give me an isolated area and I love it, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Claustrophobia of it.
Yeah, because I think Jake and I talked when we did the thing, it's that feeling of isolation and almost helplessness, right?
Exactly.
And you're in a fucking room with no doors, no windows, and what the hell are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
And it's no a good tight script, it's not a complicated movie. There's one thing going on. It takes place over the course of 1 or 2 days. The meat and potatoes of this story takes place over a few hours, one night.
Yeah.
And I like movies that take place over one night.
And we got to give it up for Anton. This was the last movie that he filmed before dying.
Rest in peace.
I loved at the end of this movie, they said, for our friend Anton.
Yeah.
And they did that in Star Trek too, for Anton. It was like, it's sad because think about what he could have become. Like, he was very good at what he did.
Yeah.
He could have been huge. He could have been the star on a lot of things. The fact that this is kind of an indie movie, well, it's A24.
A24. I love
And
A24.
they're killing it.
They're hit and miss.
They
They're
kill
hit and miss.
I like most of theirs. A couple here and there, but I like most of their shit.
I do too. Yeah. But I've seen a couple of them where it's like, I don't know.
Which one was that?
I did not like X.
Yeah, I didn't. I hated it.
I did not like X.
Yeah, we could go down if we want. I could hit the button.
We can hit the
button.
Hit it.
Random rant.
Did you see X?
I did not.
Okay. So the premise of that movie is it's this small group that are going to go out into the woods and film a porn. And so they rent this barn from this old couple and go make this movie. While the old couple, there was some real weird shit going on there.
Is it a horror movie?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cause
Who's in it?
oh shit.
Oh fuck. I'll have to look it up.
I just remember her name's Mia Goth.
Yeah.
She's pretty, but she has no eyebrows, so it's kind of creepy.
Mia Goth. That was what's his face?
Jenna Ortega's in it.
Yeah, Jenna Ortega's in it for a minute.
Shia LaBeouf's ex.
Kid Cudi's in it too.
Kid Cudi?
Yeah, he's.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
He's the black guy.
Brittany Snow
swinging his dong around.
It's directed by Ty West.
Is Brittany Snow the chick from Joe Dirt?
Is she the one from Joe Dirt?
I think she might have been in
She's
Joe
in Club
Dirt.
Dread.
Yeah. Yes.
I like her.
And then you would love this movie because she's fully naked getting plowed.
Yeah.
That's the whole goal of the movie. So but what I did like about that movie is they even say because the girlfriend, Jenna Ortega, comes to the boyfriend and says, I want to be in the movie because she's the boom operator. And she's like, I want to be in the movie. And he goes, no, we're not doing that because we can't change a movie in the middle of making it. And so they talk about Psycho. They go, well, Psycho was like that. The whole beginning of the movie is a MacGuffin.
Yeah.
And it turns on a dime.
Sure.
And right when they say that, this movie does the same thing. It turns on a dime and just becomes this bonkers ass movie.
It's out there, Jake.
I'll check it out.
It's not horrible. There's a lot of things that are happening that I really liked about X. When you get to Pearl, did you watch Pearl, Carl?
I didn't like X enough to watch it, but
dude, I liked X enough to give Pearl a chance, even though I knew it was gonna be. My buddy wanted to go see it, and I'm like, dude, it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck. It's gonna suck. I just know it's gonna suck. It was the worst fucking. It was one of the worst movies, and people love it. They praise it. Oh, it's the best movie of blah blah blah. I'm like, what fucking movie were you watching?
Right.
It was an hour and a half. I was bored to death. I kept looking at my phone, going, when the fuck is this movie going to end? I thought it was
a prequel,
horrible.
right?
It's supposed to be a prequel. Yeah.
It's a prequel to X. Okay.
Yeah, but way. And then there's another one coming out that goes into the 80s. And I think that's, I forget what it's called. I can't even think of it. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to bother with this one because I hated Pearl. I would shit on this all day if I could.
Yeah. I didn't see Pearl, but...
Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time.
That's like that's the one light in a dark hallway for me. That's the only movie that I've seen from A24 that I didn't really like. I loved Midsommar. I absolutely loved Hereditary.
Hereditary is great. Yeah. I want to say there's a bunch of other ones. I can't think of some of them right now.
I never did see Midsommar.
Whoa, fuck, that movie is bizarre.
I haven't seen it either. My buddies are like, yeah, we know what you like and you're going to hate this movie. I loved Hereditary, but Midsommar, I have a feeling I'm not going to like. Was The Dark and the Wicked A24? Have you seen that, Carl?
I have not seen that.
Dude, put that on your list.
I will.
You will love that fucking movie.
It's been on my list for him.
Dude, seriously.
For like
The Dark and the Wicked?
The Dark and the Wicked, man. You'll love that. Oh my God. It was when I got done watching it, I had to sit there for 10, 15 minutes and process it. It's like, oh my God, dude. On the lines of Hereditary. But they don't hit everyone out of the park, but they do a lot of really good stuff, A24.
Yeah, it's not just horror stuff.
Well, what I really like about that is you can tell that that's a studio that's focused on the artist perspective.
Absolutely.
That's focused on
they make
most studios are looking at your story and saying, we're not putting money behind that.
Yep.
Let's fucking make it.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about A24. Because they also did that movie, The Witch.
The Witch.
Yeah, see, I hated that fucking movie.
It took me 2 watches because I first watched it and all the fucking Shakespearean "Dost thou find me wicked?" I couldn't for the longest time, but then I was like, let's give it a chance, and we watched it, and it was like, this is pretty weird, and that is what I liked about it is how weird it is, and how just because like with my wife when we watch movies together, the thing that bothers her the most about a lot of horror movies is they always seem to have somewhat of a happy ending.
Oh yeah.
And she's like, this is bullshit. Because like she'll read a book and she's like, this book is so fucked up. And then I'll see her throw it across the room. Fucking happy ending. Bullshit. And it's like, okay, I'm with you on that because I like one of my favorite movies that is a complete opposite of that is The Mist.
Oh yeah.
The ending of that
was a
movie
good
is
ending.
so fucked up that it's like, dude. And what's funny is it's like, that was Frank Darabont who directed that.
Sure.
And it was a Stephen King story. And the other two movies that he did that were Stephen King were Shawshank Redemption and The Green Mile, which are two of Stephen King's non-horror, but they are proof that this dude knows how to tell a
Oh,
story.
for sure. Yeah.
And so when Frank Darabont finally was like, I'm going to take on one of your horror movies, it was like, yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah.
And if you notice, there's a lot of the same character actors from the other two movies that are in that. You know, he uses a lot of the same people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did in God, what am I doing? The Walking Dead too. What was the Scott something? But the guy who was the prosecutor in the Shawshank Redemption was the guy who drove the RV.
He's also the guy in Green Mile that's like, you dumb son of a bitch. It's that dude.
I love when directors stick to like.
He's
people
not gonna
that
come
they
out.
know.
Yeah, you got people that you work with that you work well with. Stick with it.
I mean,
He's not
Quinn
going to have
does
one of those
it.
priests
Carpenter
that's
did it.
hooting and hollering, waving his dick around, is he? That guy.
So we're towards the end here. We folks, just so you know that we got the movie playing in the foreground here. Yeah, I mean, this is at the end where they get their revenge. Because I'm like, they fucking better get their revenge on this shit.
Yeah.
Like you got to, but this is what we were talking about. They're moving slow, gingerly, coming in and out because they're losing blood, man.
Yeah.
Like that's what I liked about it. It wasn't like they're not like Bruce Willis and Die Hard and all this shit's happening. I'm still doing all this.
Yeah.
Doing it with 6 bullets in their abdomen in various places.
I just dug a huge piece of glass out of my foot. I'm going to jump off this building.
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah.
I always did the scream.
Yeah, the Bruce Willis yell. But no,
they get
again, just to bring it back to A24, I'm just seeing that is enough to make me go, all right, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
Definitely, dude. And throw that one, The Dark and the Wicked. I don't remember if it's A24, but what you're talking about when there's not a happy ending, there is nothing good happening in this film, dude, and you're gonna love it. I know you will, because everyone I've told about and they've watched it, like, yeah, that's really good.
All right. The next time I come on, I will have seen it.
Okay. Yeah.
And we'll talk about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, yeah, I'd love to say the same thing. I would love to do this again. This is I can talk movies all day, all day.
Word?
Well, they get the revenge, right?
They get their revenge.
How fucked up is that to see your friends just laying there, man? Chewed up, stabbed to death, all this shit.
And the fact
processing that.
And the guys that are doing it this is a Wednesday. Like
there's nothing
they
to them, dude.
Don't give a shit.
They don't care at all.
Cover it up and move on.
I would have shot them both already at this point. I wouldn't be able to sit there and have a conversation.
No,
with
not
them.
at all.
But I do like it because it's very realistic how Pat looks down at his friends and then turns around and says, "This is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Like this can't be right here. Yeah, this can't be real. Like these are like when you're in a band, especially like I always used to make this joke like." Being in a band is like having a whole bunch of girlfriends that you don't have sex with.
Absolutely.
Because we are in a relationship together.
Yeah,
There's a brotherhood involved. There are times where we're fighting, we're swinging at each other. But there's also times where it's like, that guy said something about my friend. We need to go do something about that.
Yeah.
And, with that, when you're, especially with what they were doing, that DIY band trap, like these guys... In a band scenario, especially in the van, you can tell who farted just by the smell of it. I've been around you long enough.
Yeah.
I know, dude, what did you eat? You know who it was. And it's like, I know more about you than I ever wanted to know about another person.
Yeah.
And so to see, your family, your brethren, like laying there with their throats torn out, and that would be really, really hard to deal with. And the way he said it is exactly how I pictured myself. Just like, this can't be fucking real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Wake me up, please. I am done with this dream.
Yeah. Well, fuck, man. That's Green Room.
Oh,
Great flick. Check it out if you guys haven't seen it.
highly recommend.
Definitely
However,
recommend.
yes, it is not a horror movie. It's scary as fuck,
That's
but
all
it's
I'm
not a
trying to
horror movie.
say.
It's horrific though. I still
it
keep
is
going.
horrific.
I still keep going back to that because those killings are brutal, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, they're
Like
brutal.
they're worse than some of the horror movie I've seen killings. They
Yeah,
are. They
Absolutely.
are. You know. But yeah, man.
Oh yeah, here. This
is the
it's-
OD.
It's Worm.
He's watching
Worm's the one
watching
eating the
TV
cereal.
in a daze with I don't know, cereal. Is that old cereal?
Yeah, his eyes open,
Whatever it is, it doesn't look very good.
It does not look good,
rocking
dude, at
back
all.
and forth.
But that's the
Tad's
other thing, and
just
then it
cleaning his
shows
apartment.
Tad cleaning his apartment. He's still waiting for his cousin to show up because remember that's what he said he had
Yeah,
to do.
Daniel and what was her name? Emily. Yeah.
Yeah, they were him and his girlfriend. They're having some trouble, so they're gonna come stay here for a while. And and then here comes the dog. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
That was a nice little touch at the end that the dog makes its way back to his, his guy
And lays down with him,
down
yeah.
to die with
Yeah.
him.
That's and again that was one of the things I liked about it is these people seem so inhuman with what they're actually trying to do, and then you see this little human touch where it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this guy legitimately loved his dogs and they
Yeah.
loved him back.
Definitely.
Yeah, but fuck him anyway.
Yeah, fuck him.
Fuck him. Yeah.
What was it? What was the Fass?
Oh yeah.
That was the
Foss.
command to,
Yeah, the
to
command.
bite.
Yeah.
Fass.
Us.
I was actually waiting for the dog to come up while they were,
I
talking
did
to
too.
those guys and
Yeah.
have one of them be able to say it and, get Patrick Stewart 8 instead of just shot. But
Yeah.
So, what I thought was funny about it is he's handing the guy, he's handing the dog off to the guys that are going to go in and clean up the mess, and he was like, as he's got the chain in his hand, he's like, "The command is Foss."
Yeah,
and
I
I was
know.
waiting for the dog to just like rip his sack off or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, exactly.
like just attack right there because it's not
there
like
could have been a little humor in that.
there could have been. I mean, there
Definitely.
was definitely some funny parts of it, like the beginning when they're in the van, and the Reese says he's like, "Oh, there's something I never told you."
that was
like,
pretty
"What's
good,
that?"
dude.
And he
I'm
lets
sorry,
one out.
Sean.
Yeah,
I'm
it's-
sorry, Sean.
Oh, my wife does that all the time. Sorry, Sean. And we're just like, God damn it. My favorite is to sit there. We'll be all eating or something. And I'll go, hold on. Did you hear that? And get everybody kind of like, what? And just let one fly. It's just like, you asshole.
That's hilarious.
Or I'll tell my kids, I got a secret for you. Come here. I'm going to tell you a secret. And they'll come up and I'll just grab them. Let one fly.
Oh, shit. Well, there we go, man. Green Room.
Great movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Highly recommend.
I definitely.
Definitely.
Especially if you've ever been in a band
Yeah.
ever in your life.
Yeah, I feel like
Speaking
you
of
have
which-
to see it. Yeah.
Carl, another damn disappointment. ADD.
Yeah.
Go check them
We
out.
got a record coming out. Indeterminate date, but it is coming.
It's coming. So make sure you check them out. And of course, we got Jake and Lester's Sons. I appreciate you guys coming out.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
man. Definitely would love to have you out again, Carl.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
You know, Jake's become a regular. He's
Yeah.
become a creepy fucking bastard.
I've listened to a couple of his shows. I've listened to a couple.
Yeah,
I've listened to you guys bash the shit out of movies I enjoy, but
That's okay. Well, that's the fun in it, right? Because
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
I shit on Evil Dead, and I feel like I'm at some point gonna get an angry mob at my door.
yeah, but you can't shit on Evil Dead 2.
Thank
just
you,
cannot.
Carl. Thank
You
you.
just cannot.
No, you can't. I
but here's
love
the
Evil
thing.
Dead 2 more than the first one.
I'll shit on Army of Darkness all day, but I
I-
won't shit on Evil Dead 2.
No,
Why
I
would you
won't
do
either.
that.
Because there's a lot of things that just
It's a
don't
little-
sit
it's a little
well
over the
with
top
me.
and hokey
There's
for
a
me.
lot of
Yeah.
things that don't
Yeah.
sit well with me.
I
It's
agree
not,
with
well,
Carl.
it's not a horror movie. It's,
No, it's don't get me wrong. You and I have been quoting things. What's that you got on your face? You know, I'll come back for you. There's so many good things out of it, but as a whole, it doesn't hold a candle to Evil Dead 2 for me.
That's Carl. That's
fair.
you go
Fair.
listen to. Jake wasn't on that one. Go listen to our Evil Dead episode, and I got
What
the
about
other,
the remake of Evil Dead?
Didn't
that
they
one
just,
was our.
Didn't they just come out with a sequel to the remake of Evil Dead?
No,
Yeah.
Evil Dead Rise isn't really a sequel. We just did an episode on that. That
Is it
hasn't
good?
that hasn't come out yet. It's okay. I have my issues with it.
It just looks like it's going to be all jump scares.
No, it's not. There are some good things happening. Oh, there's a cheese grater scene that I will tell you about. It could have been better, but it's a cheese grater. So
I'm going to
you-
bring back what you said before about jump scares.
yeah.
Insidious. Insidious had a great jump
they've had
scare
a
where
few.
there's
Is that the one in the kitchen?
yeah, where he's got the little demon just sitting behind him. All of a sudden, you're
That's
like,
great.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
And it's so brief and so quick, but it's like
Oh, that one's great,
That was a
dude.
good
Yeah,
goddamn
that's a good
jump
one.
scare.
Well, any jump scare is completely acceptable as long as they're not relying on, a dynamic change in the sound of the volume. You can go from 0 to 120 decibels and get anybody out of their seat. It doesn't need to be scary. But that's why I like the jump scare from The Exorcist. The music just pulses in a little bit, and then the camera zooms quickly, and it's not just...
It's when you can predict that it's coming. That's what it bothers me. It's like,
Oh, dude, yeah. Most of the movies these days.
my
you
wife
can-
and
yeah,
kids will
it's
do that all
coming,
the
it's
time.
coming.
They'll jump, and it's like, why didn't you jump? Because the music went dead silent.
Yeah. You know
I
what's
knew
happening.
it was. There's not a sound on the screen. All right, something's gonna jump out. Fuck. It's probably gonna be a cat.
Oh, shit. All right, then. Well, that's it for us. Everyone, thanks for listening. We appreciate it. Carl, thank you. Jake, thank you.
Thank you.
And everyone, take care. You listened all the way to the end. We appreciate that. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Ear for Fear Podcast, Twitter at Ear for Fear, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Ear for Fear Podcast. You can also check out our website, earforfear.com. There we list news and events. We're available on all the main platforms, so make sure you tell a friend. We hope you come back and get an earful.